and without any further ado, I think the best person to introduce first would be Claire. Claire Gonzales is and you have a little program guide, so I'm not going to do extensive bio reading, but Claire is a marine ecologist, a conservationist, a PADI dive master, so am I. And, not a dive master, I'm just a PADI guy. And has a extensive background in marine biology. So without further ado, I'm going to just ask Claire to give us a few thoughts. Please, Claire.
Is this the PowerPoint?
Yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Hi, everyone. So first off, I'd just like to thank you all for taking time out of your week and coming to this talk tonight. These discussions are super important in conserving California's offshore natural resources, so thank you all for being here. My name is Claire Gonzales, and I'm a marine scientist and an officer on the board of directors of the Blue Latitudes Foundation. The Blue Latitudes Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to elevate the traditional concept of ocean stewardship in a way that integrates industry, government, and the environment. One of our initiatives at the Blue Latitudes Foundation is Reefs and its potential application in California. So that's why I'm here to be able to join in this discussion and talk with you all about the future of California's offshore oil platforms. All right, this is how people generally envision offshore oil platforms. Towering steel structures, blemishes on the environment, and a looming potential for oil spills, as well as a constant reminder of our insatiable reliance on fossil fuels. However, how many people have seen an oil rig from underwater? Okay, awesome. That's more than the normal amount of hands we get for that question, so you all are doing great already. Just beneath the surface, these structures foster a really complex and beautiful ecosystem. Sponges and corals are wrapped around every beam and cross beam, and countless fish make their homes here. I think Milton Love can maybe give us a little bit more description on that a little bit later. Rockfish, Bocaccio, and even the California state fish, the Garibaldi, all live on California's offshore platforms. So, what happens when we need to remove these structures? Thanks. Well, that's why we're all here today, and one structure specifically is facing that fate right now. So for those of you who aren't familiar, this is Platform Holly. It's an oil platform just a couple miles off of Goleta. Platform Holly was owned by a company named Veneco until 2017 when Veneco went bankrupt. So at that point, Holly was transferred over to the state of California, to the California State Lands Commission, and all operation was ceased. So now the responsibility of decommissioning Platform Holly has fallen to California. And that's something that's happening right now, which is another great reason that we're all in the same room talking about this. This is also important because California hasn't decommissioned anything in over 30 years. The last time we pulled a rig out of the water was 1988, and since then our policies have changed. And this is one of the things that has changed. This is an assembly bill. It was passed by Governor Schwarzenegger in 2010, and it's known as the Marine Resources Legacy Act. Essentially, what the Marine Resources Legacy Act does is it established the California Artificial Reef Program, and it allows California to partially decommission, which basically means that through the decommissioning process, you can leave a portion of the structure in the water to continue to live on as an artificial reef. That being said, there are a few things that need to be amended in this law, and so California hasn't utilized it yet, and before we really do utilize it, we would need to address those necessary amendments. But more broadly speaking, this conversation is more than just about Platform Holly. California has 27 offshore oil platforms along its coast, and eventually all of them are going to need to come out. So what policymakers and regulators and us as citizen stakeholders choose to do now is going to impact the California coast for years and years to come. So that's why we're all here. I'm super grateful that everyone came out to have this discussion. I can provide a little bit of background on rigs to reef and potential sustainable decommissioning options in California, and we can see what we can do to preserve California's natural resources. Thanks.